Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. And today we are going to be going over all of the boss fights for this month's Cavalier Difficulty, the Immortal Hulk. And I gotta say, I get wrecked quite a bit. So I hope you enjoy it. So the first boss that we come across is Sasquatch, who's got increased attack, debilitate, kinetic reactor. So the enemy generates power when striking a blocking target. So when you're blocking, that's what they generate. And Rage of the Beast. So the defending Sasquatch builds rage 1 second faster when not landing attacks. And I brought in Claire for this because I was like, oh, I'll keep his power under control, completely forgetting about the fact that he randomly goes unstoppable. Whenever he gets, you know, the Wrath of Tanarak or whatever it's called, I completely forgot what this guy's animations look like. And so he gets me wrecked. Now, bringing in someone who can stop the unstoppable, like Red Guardian would be your best bet here. Or when this guy was in the monthly EQ, or the side event quest, I brought in Papa Luke and he really shredded him. So I decided to bring in Nick here because, you know, every so often he can stun you, and I was like, well, if Nick's LMD is destroyed, I won't become stunnable. So, you know, we'll go with that. And plus I figured I could put a good amount of bleeds on him. So I prefer dexing his special 2 over his special 1. Sometimes the tree that he throws at me gets me from the special 1. So I prefer to try to push him to his special 2 because it's easier for me to dodge than his special 1. But he likes to throw that special 1 for me. So you definitely don't want to get backed into a corner with this guy, especially when he can go unstoppable randomly. So that kind of really got me, which you guys are about to see. Those ruptures can do a ton of damage. So there he goes unstoppable, and he gets me in the corner, and there he's unstoppable again right as I went in for the attack. He's unstoppable there, which sucked because I just basically wasted my special 2, so I was kind of irked about that. But now the real Nick showed up, and I'm like, all right, Sassy, you're going down. But really any champ that can put a DOT on and kind of help out with that unstoppable is going to help you out. So She-Hulk would be another really good one to bring in. Someone with a slow debuff can help out a lot here. But overall, he's not a hard boss, just kind of more of an annoyance than anything. So now we're moving on to the next boss, which is Red Hulk, and he's got Bane, which is one of my all-time favorites. He also has Mixmaster, increased attack. He's got special 1 bias, which can help you out because his special 1 is easier to dodge than his special 2. So, but the Mixmaster is what you got to watch out for, because you don't want to land the 2 same basic attacks in a row. And that gets me a couple times because I kind of forgot about it and I wasn't paying attention. And that leads into with Spry. So each time he evades, which he can do with Mixmaster, you're going to get a fatigue debuff placed on you. So that can kind of work out into your favor too if you run willpower. So kind of keep that in mind. And he's also got Blood in the Water. So while the attacker is suffering from a debuff, the defender gains a passive fury, granting an increase in attack lasting until all the debuffs on the attacker expire. So now, because I run suicides, I already have those debuffs on me, and then with the Spry, you get that fatigue debuff put on you, so that's going to land into that as well. So the real main thing you got to watch out for here is that Mixmaster, and I got a bit of a call right there, so I had to pause it, so please excuse that. But really kind of just landing heavies is where you're going to go. Nick is really good for this, but anyone can really handle this fight. It's not a hard fight to do. You just kind of got to play it smart, especially when dealing with that Mixmaster, because that is kind of the most pain in the butt node when it comes to this mob. So bringing in Nick was probably one of my best options. You could really bring in anyone here. You could even Quake it. If you can Quake and Bake, Quake all day, right? Quake all day, or Ghost, right? If Ghost, you could do Ghost. She would be another good option for this. Just Nick was one of my better bets here, but really any champion can do this fight. It's not a hard fight to do. It's just more of a pain with that Mixmaster. So other good options would be Archangel too. You could do Archangel and just stack those bleeds. Now you won't get the neuros because of course Red Hulk is poison immune, or he converts them rather into a heat charge, purifies them I should say. So, but overall not bad. First chapter of this cab is completed here with Red Hulk, and we are going to be moving on to Professor X. And this guy gave me some fits because I also couldn't quite remember his animations all that well. So he's got increased attack, enhanced energy attack. So energy attacks inflict 40% more damage. He's got cornered, so you're not going to want to bring in someone who's going to put a DOT on him. He's got crit resistance, which really sucks. So I probably should have brought in somebody who doesn't crit, like Guillotine 2099 would have been a better option. Although with that degen and the cornered, I would have been baiting more specials. He's got special 1 bias. Now his special 1 is easier to dodge than his special 2. Faltering Mind. So Falter effects last an additional second longer, and then he's got Footloose, and I hate Footloose because after he activates a special attack, he becomes unstoppable and has a chance to evade incoming attacks for 7 seconds. So this gets me clipped because I forget about the Footloose a lot. So you can see I rush in to punish that special and get clipped there because he is unstoppable. So I thought I brought in Sparkles here because I was thinking I could get up to binary and just wreck him, not thinking about the crit resistance that he has. So bringing in someone who doesn't crit would be a solid option. So even Red Hulk can bypass a lot of that with his heat charges, so he would be a good option for this. There's a lot of really good options for this now. Quake is a little bit difficult for this fight, probably due to the fact that he does have the vigilance. So you want to kind of keep that in mind if you're thinking about quaking. The crit resistance, of course, is going to hurt Ghost, Corvus, anyone who does a lot of crits. It's going to really kind of hinder them a lot. So this fight here was probably one of the most challenging for me, just because then I just kind of, brain meltdown and just kind of panicked my way through it. Okay, so Sparkles bit the farm, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring in Archangel, get those bleeds, get those neuros on, and we're just gonna take him down with that, right? No, poor Archangel. Poor Archangel. He tries. He does okay, and getting some DOT on, but this fight was just a bit rough for me to do, so there you can see I got the falter. Now, when you're fighting Professor X, you want to watch that little gray countdown right underneath him because that shows when you're going to falter. So you have a certain number of seconds before you're going to falter. So you want to kind of pay close attention to that. Otherwise, if you're not, then you can go in thinking you're safe and, well, you're not. So maybe I should have rewatched my video on how to fight Professor X. So his special 2 does a ton of damage. So now I just decide to bring in Warlock here, and I'm like, let's just clean up with Warlock. So I brought in Warlock, and Warlock actually does some pretty good damage and ends up cleaning this fight up very well for me. So I think Warlock is probably one of the better options for this. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going through this. If you have a Warlock, don't be like me and wait until the last fight to use Warlock. So I do get clipped there again because I forgot about the Footloose. I really need to pay better attention to these nodes when I read them. Because this seems to be a thing with me today. At least today it seems to be a thing with me. So Warlock makes short work of Professor X, and now we are moving on to the next mob, which is Maestro. And I forgot how to fight Maestro. I really forgot how to fight Maestro, and it comes and it gets me pretty good. So Maestro's got Enhanced Fury, Hit Me, I Dare You, The Rich Get Richer, Combo Up, and Feats of Power. So the rich get richer and feats of power kind of tie into each other because, of course, the rich get richer. Whichever champion has more unique buffs, they're going to gain 9% of a bar of power every second. And so with the feats of power, when he's above 1 bar of power, he's going to gain a fury. When he is above 2 bars of power, he's going to gain a precision. And when at 3 bars, he's going to gain a cruelty buff. So having someone who gets buffs would have been the way to go here. I decided to bring in Void for some reason. I don't know what it was. And it didn't work out. So then I decided to bring in Claire, thinking I could keep his power under control. But guys, it has been a long time since I fought Maestro, and it shows because I do not remember what his specials look like. All I remember is I want to push him to his special 2. And so that is kind of the goal here, but he does throw the special 1. So if you can't dex the special 1 fully, just block it, because look at that degen damage. Look at that 2k, like what? So then I panic throw my special 3, and Claire has like no clairvoyance charges, so it's really not gonna do a whole lot of damage. So I was just kind of like panic throwing it, and a lot of these fights, especially leading up until here, are just panic, mass hysteria, dogs and cats living together, you name it. And rip Claire, she does not last very long here. She's only at 12% here, and then he's gonna throw a special 1, and that's gonna be the end of Claire. And so I think this is it here. Oh no, there's the heavy. So I try to get, oh yeah, I get a special 2 out. That's right. But yeah, she, if I would have played her better and not gotten so flustered, that would have been better. But there's the special 1, and I just died from block damage. So I brought in Omega Red to kind of get the death spores on and keep him going. But yeah, when I brought in my team for this, I didn't check the node ahead of time, which would have been the smart thing to do. And it shows, because I was not gaining that much power, but the death spores are doing some damage, but you definitely want to push this guy to the special 2. Just watch with the rich get richer, because you can accidentally push him to a special 3 pretty quick, which is what happened to Void. So I didn't even get 1 special out of him before he went to his special 3. So kind of keep that in mind as you're doing this fight. Overall, this isn't a bad fight. You just kind of got to watch his power, try to keep him at a special 2, bait out that special 2, and punish it. It's very easy to punish. So, you know, keep that in mind as you're doing this. Anyone can really do this, but having someone who gains more unique buffs is the way to go. This could actually work out fairly well for Silver Surfer. Excuse me. He can do this. Venom would be another good option for this, especially if he's awakened, because you start out with those buffs. So kind of think about that as you're going through it. But Omega ends up taking down Maestro. I won't let you sit through the rest of this, but Omega does take him down easy peasy. All right, so now we're moving on to the first of the new bosses, which is Immortal Hulk. Now he's got Outlast, Limber, so you're only gonna get a very short number of parries, or very few number of parries. Devil Hulk, so whenever Hulk gains immortality, he gains a Fury passive, increasing attack rating by up to 100% based on the current gamma radiation. Now the current gamma radiation is that little green symbol you see in the corner there, and I forgot about his 2-part heavy and totally ate the big clap. And then he's also got radiation exposure, so while below 75 gamma radiation, Hulk gains up to 0.5% of max health as gamma radiation per second based on his missing health, except while bleeding. So you could bring in a bleeder here. Now I just built Aegon up on the path up. I started the fight with over 100 hits, so he kind of makes short work of him. I just baited out the special 1s. I forgot what his special 2s looked like, and I didn't want to really risk it with Aegon. Didn't want to risk it for the biscuit, so I just baited out those special 1s. They're pretty easy. You got the jump down, you got the 2 swings, and then you can go in and punish. But now this is a rank 3 6-star Aegon, and he made pretty short work of it. But this guy's not hard. His specials aren't hard to dodge. His heavy isn't hard to dodge. He doesn't really have any mechanic that's really going to hurt you. So any champ could really handle this fight easy peasy. Not a hard champ. So now we're moving on to the last boss for Cavalier Difficulty, and it is Immortal Abomination. Now he's got Debilitate, Smash Bash. So each time an attacking Hulk, She-Hulk, Hulk Ragnarok, or Immortal Hulk is immune to a poison effect, the defender gains a passive Fury granting plus 10% attack. At 10 stacks of Fury from this node, they are removed, and the attacker gains a plus 65% Fury buff and an unblockable buff for 8 seconds. So if you have any of the Hulks or She-Hulk, definitely bring them in, so because that'll help you out tremendously in this. Now he's also got Nano Plague, so bringing in a robot is going to put a shock on you instead of a poison. He's got Acidic Erosion. Each time the defender is inflicted with a poison, they gain a passive Fury, increasing attack rating by 15%, max stacks at 20. And then he's got Throwback. Each time the attacker purifies a damage over time debuff, they gain Damaging Enhancement passive, increasing the potency of their damage over time effects by plus 20% for 10 seconds. So that kind of works out really good for you, especially if you bring in one of the Hulks that can purify that poison. So I didn't do that because I don't have any of my Hulks ranked up, and so I brought in a poison immune champ. If you don't have any of the Hulks that are ranked up, or you don't want to bring in a robot because of the Nano Plague, bringing in someone who's poison immune like Omega Red is going to help you out a lot. I mess up here with a special 2, which you will see that does a ton of damage and wrecks poor little old Omega. But any champ who's poison immune can do this fight. I end up bringing Hyperion in, which you guys will see here in a minute, in order to take this guy down. But his animations aren't bad. His special 1 is super easy to dodge. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of like an armadillo. Definitely keeping him at his special 1 though, because there's really no projectiles. He does like a little rolly ball thing, and then he hits you with like, it's like a club type thing. I don't know. But the special 2, this is where Omega, I'm pretty sure, gets wrecked. Yeah, so the special 2 does a lot of damage. So I wasn't expecting it to look like what it expected, or what it did, so I thought it was just going to be something like that, but that block damage was pretty tight. So after that, I decided, well, we're just going to keep him at his special 1. So I brought in Hype here, build up the Furies, and Hype does end up doing a lot of damage and taking him down. So I probably could have one-shot this with Hyperion. I definitely, if I had one of the Hulks ranked up, I could have used the 6-star Gladiator Hulk if I really wanted to, but decided to bring in Hype instead because there was a buffed up path that I took and used Hyperion for. So, but overall, both these new bosses aren't difficult. I think the other mobs are harder than these ones, especially that Professor X. And if you're not accustomed to Mixmaster, or if you forget that Mixmaster is on the node for Red Hulk, that can really kind of throw you off as well. But overall, I wish Kabam would have mixed up the nodes a little bit. We're still seeing diss track and that sort of thing, so I would like to see different nodes added on to next month's monthly EQ. So, but anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this month's Cavalier Difficulty. Who did you find were the best options for the bosses? What did you think of Immortal Hulk and Immortal Abomination? Who do you think was the toughest boss? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and enjoy this message from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre Mcoc video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So, do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that Mcoc beautifully. Not mediocre. Katy!